Hi, my name's Sharon, and I've been listening to the book on audio, and I wanted to share a few thoughts with you on Chapter 1, Holy Ground, Pray As You Can. One of the things that stood out to me was the way that Tyler didn't know whether God was there or God was answering prayers, and someone said to him, well, just experiment. So he started to spend the whole of the summer walking around his school and praying for his classmates. And when school started back, he set up a Bible study, and lots of them came and became Christians. And it just made me realise how important that time was that he spent with God. It wasn't that he had an idea to set up a Bible class, it was that he'd spent that time with God. And God was inspiring him to set up this Bible class. And it just made me think about if we could just spend some more time being quiet and listening to God and seeing what God inspires us to do and what fruit will be produced from doing God things rather than our own things. And the other thing that stood out was Philippians, when he talks about the passage in Philippians 4, the Lord is near, do not be anxious about everything. And he says in that passage, it's saying, if we take our anxiety to God, God replaces it with his peace, his perfect peace. So why don't we do that? Well, who would not want peace rather than anxiety? And he says there's four things that stop us really taking, well, there are four things that he thinks that stop us praying about our anxiety. He said one is fear of being naive. What if God's not there? What if God doesn't hear us? Can we trust God with our anxiety? Fear of silence. We're so used to sharing ideas with other Christians, listening to other Christians, reading other books that Christians have written, listening to worship music, that when everything's stripped away and it's just me and God, will I hear him? And will I be happy with what God has to say? And the third was being selfish. And that reminded me when I was first a Christian, someone suggested praying for parking spaces. So I experimented. And I did used to find parking spaces when I prayed. But then one day I thought, this is a bit selfish. There's so many more important things to be praying about. And I stopped praying for a parking space. And over the years, I realised that it was causing me some anxiety when I went into a big car park and I was late and I was trying to find a space. So I started to pray again, and God shows me where the parking spaces are. So now I think, well, it's not selfish. This is what God's asking us to do. Take our anxiety to him and he will replace it with his peace. And so I'm going to carry on praying for parking spaces. And the fourth thing was fear of doing it wrong. And like Tyler showed me the experiment, can we do it wrong? God is there, God has created us, and we need to come to God however we are. And if we can only spend 1 minute speaking and listening to God, then Tyler says start there, which is a really good idea. And over time increase it and increase it. And let's experiment and bring these anxious things to God and see how God answers those prayers. So thanks for listening.